Welcome everyone. We will be doing another business endpoint protection review. We will be testing Comodo again, but the reason for that is we putting it up against Eset because Eset also released a while back their own cloud sandbox technology, and because Comodo has something similar, I thought we'll put these two side by side and see if they do work the same, although vendors approach the containment from a different angle. So we have Comodo on the left. As you guys know, we will be testing it again with real-time protection disabled. We want to see how powerful again the containment technology is. So real-time shield is disabled, firewall, block, request, safe mode, all advanced rules are enabled. That does slow down the internet a bit or the network connections on machines, but it provides a much better firewall protection. HIPS, block request, safe mode, and to be adaptive under low resources. Those are the rules. Okay, I'm not sure if I showed the firewall rules, but these are the firewall rules. Okay, so we go to containment. Containment mode is enabled to automatically run. These are the containment rules. Okay, file rating is enabled. Virus scope is enabled and no pop-up alerts. No scan exclusions, script analysis. We only enabled the runtime detection auto runs that Comodo gives out of the box. We didn't add any additional rules. Miscellaneous, we set the library level to Microsoft, so that is the highest. Okay, so quick and easy. Comodo, for you guys that are new, we don't show the Comodo dashboard because we'll have to blur out way too much in any case for security and privacy reasons for our customers. So we just not show the dashboard and just show the settings from the endpoint itself. Okay, so let's look at the malware samples. Okay, 1626, these are our latest samples. Okay, so let's look at Eset before we jump to the console. This is the latest version 9. When we did the initial sign up with Eset a couple of weeks ago, it was still version 8, so it looks like version 9 was recently released, so it's in version 9. So let's jump to the console. Okay, so this is the Eset console. We only have one endpoint enrolled, which is this one. Okay, so as you guys can see, it is up-to-date version, same resources as the Comodo machine, 5 gigrams and 2 logical cores. It's in the malware test group folder, and we have this policy applied, malware test. So the settings, to go through all the settings will take a couple of minutes, but we'll obviously just want to show you guys the configurations, so just bear with us. Okay, so detection is all set to aggressive and reporting for all the modules. We have one exclusion, which is our script. Advanced options, everything is enabled. Shared cache, nothing there. Real-time shields and things like that, everything is enabled. Process exclusions, nothing. Threat sense parameters, everything is enabled. Always remedy the detection. Exclusions, no exclusions. Smart optimization limits, and everything here is enabled as well. So let's go to cloud-based. Okay, so live grid, feedback, and system is enabled. So dynamic threat defense is the cloud-based sandbox that I spoke about earlier. This is Eset's way to combat new and never before seen threats. So it analyzes it in a cloud sandbox, and then after it gets the verdict, the Eset will then allow the file to run. If it is something that it doesn't know, I think it puts it like in a pause state, or just blocks the file. As soon as it gets a rating, then obviously Eset will deal with it as per the rating. So Eset has a cloud version of the sandbox. Comodo uses a local containment that runs locally on the machine. So we'll see how the differences will be. But as you can see, Dynamic Threat Defense provides another layer of security by utilizing cloud-based technology to analyze and detect new, never before seen types of malware. Okay, so that is enabled. So so Dynamic Threat Defense is enabled. Submit samples is enabled. We also included documents because all the documents we'll be testing will be malware. So we not have to worry about any privacy. So Dynamic Threat Defense. So results in this threshold and higher will be detected as threats. So we took the lowest, so obviously that one and higher will be considered as threats. So we left it on suspicious, queue running process, and block until receiving the analysis results, and we made the timeout 5 minutes. I think that's more than enough. Malware scans, we didn't actually change anything there. But under document protection, you can see document protection is enabled. Okay, so let's go to HIPS. HIPS is enabled. One exclusion for our script. So ransomware shields enabled. Audit mode is disabled. It's left in automatic mode. Okay, no rules there. And advanced options. Okay, so we'll look at network protection. So that's that. Firewall. It is enabled. Automatic mode. Advanced. Allowed services. Okay, modification detection is enabled. Learning mode is disabled. NAP is enabled. IDS rules. We only created this rule for any detection to block, notify, and lock it. So that's the rule that we created. Brute force attack is enabled. Advanced options. As you guys can see, everything is enabled and left on default as Eset left it. Okay, web and email, we're only going to look at web access and things like that, not the email side. Anti-phishing, that's enabled. Web control, enabled, but we're not going to use it. And secure browser is enabled as well. And I think that's about it for the settings. It's assigned to the malware test group. Let me maybe just disable the protection quickly while I'm here. Sorry guys. Okay. Just turning off a lot of it. I'm not sure how sensitive Eset's going to be when we extract malware, so we'll just obviously re-enable all of this. Okay, so I hope that does the trick. Okay, so we're going to go back to Comodo. Let's extract the malware. Okay, let me just extract all this malware, guys. As soon as it's done, I'll let you guys know and we'll enable all the settings. Okay guys, so the extraction on the Comodo machine is almost done. I think in the meantime it takes a couple of, maybe a minute or so for the Eset machine to get the settings. So I think in the meantime let's enable Eset while we wait for that. guys think we haven't missed anything. Okay, dynamic threshold, dynamic threat, and oops. Okay, cool. I think that's that. Okay, policy saved. Let's just make sure. Okay, everything is still fine here. Okay, enabled. Okay, dynamic threat defense is enabled. Okay. Okay, and HIPS is enabled. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's wait for that then. Okay, let's just wait for the settings to apply and then we'll continue the test. Okay guys, we're back, so it looks like it applied the settings, so let's make sure Comodo is up to date, and we're checking Eset is up to date. Yep. Okay, so guys, let's just refresh this. What is it complaining about now? Seems to be a bit of a delay. Okay, cool. There it goes. Okay, it's happy now. Okay, everything seems good. Okay, so I think we're good to go. Okay, so I think we're ready guys. So Eset is up to date. Comodo is up to date. Okay, so Eset's up to date, Comodo's up to date. Okay, cool, great. So Eset's happy. Okay guys, so let this battle begin between these two. I'm gonna start the script in containment so we can make sure it runs normal. Okay, so as you guys can see, I didn't actually show that. I wanted to show that before we started. So you guys will see here that there's no existing malware on the machine. Yep, so we're happy. Eset is a little bit quicker when it comes to the test, so Comodo can get a head start, that's fine. Okay, so you guys can see they're all clean. Okay, so they're all running. Let's give them some time. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's 1,600 malware and we need to execute. If anything interesting or funny happens, I'll point it out, but for now let's just wait for the test to finish. Okay guys, so it seems like the test for Eset is complete. Just closing the last bit of error messages. Okay, so Comodo is just doing unrecognized scans. So once it sees files it does not know, then eventually later it will do scans to see if it can recognize those files. So it's busy doing that. Okay, so we've got a couple of startup items here, but we'll obviously check that again after virus scans and restarts and all that. Okay, I'm just gonna restart this machine and then I'm gonna start a full scan with Eset. Okay guys, I'm gonna restart the Comodo machine. I've ran out of disk space. So there's no disk space for containment to work. So everything is just hanging and not really working. So just gonna restart the machine, clear out containment. The majority of the malware has already been blocked, so whatever malware is left in the folder I'll just execute again, but I'm just pointing it out that I'm restarting the machine due to almost no more resources left. Okay, so as you guys can see, there's less than 400 megabytes left and everything seems to be stuck at this point. So I'm just gonna restart it and then I'll let you guys. Hello guys, okay, so we are back. I had to pause the VMs overnight as I didn't want them to remove more malware while I was not attending, to keep it as fair as possible. So I didn't want Comodo to do updates and scan and things like that, so I paused both the VMs. So I've resumed them about 2 hours ago. So Eset is still scanning. Comodo is busy with the last notification pop-ups. So we'll see here that there is a bunch of things running in containment. Oh, actually not that many. It's this section here, but it's still quite a bit of malware. And then 1, 2 here at the bottom. So I'm just going to close these last messages. I'm just going to wait for all these malware to finish running in containment. As soon as these pop-up notifications are gone, then I know there's nothing else running. And then from there on I will reset the container. I just want to make sure that I don't reset the container while other malware is still trying to execute. So I'm just going to wait till these notifications calm down, because I can see the number is still increasing, so there's still malware being contained. So I'm just going to wait till it calms down and then I will reset the container and restart the machine. Okay guys, and we're back. So Comodo is finally done with the full scan. Eset is still busy. So full scan, as you guys can see, no malware was found. So I'm gonna restart this machine again, and then I'm going to start the third-party opinion scans. I don't think Eset is too far behind. Once it's done, so far it has cleaned all the malware that it's found. And then we'll start the scans with Eset as well, third-party opinion scans, but for now I'll just do the scans for Comodo and wait for Eset. Okay guys, and we're back. So Eset is finally done with the scan. 462 threats, and it says it has removed them all. Okay, so it's a bunch of stuff in app data. Okay, so let's restart this machine and start with the third-party opinion scans, and then once they're all done, we'll look at the results. Okay guys, so the third-party opinion scans are finally done. Took quite a bit of time, but nonetheless we are finished. Okay, so let's look at Comodo first. Let's look at Hetman Pro. Okay, so there's only seems to be these two files. I did check it with Comodo's Valkyrie verdict, and the files are clean. It's still pending human analysis, but according to Comodo, these files are clean. I think that's also why Hetman Pro only says suspicious. Let me just see if I can quickly get that up. Okay, so you guys will see here that that local IT file is actually clean, but it's still pending human expert analysis. But the Valkyrie is extremely accurate, so if it says it's clean, then there's a good chance that it is clean. But yeah, it's still pending human expert analysis, so local. I don't think that is actually malware, hence I think why also Heatman Pro only says suspicious. So these two I'm not going to count as malware. It's the same on Eset's machine, so these two I'm not actually going to label as malware, but we can check the virus total results nonetheless, so we can all just be rest assured. Okay, so but these two are the only files outside of the normal malware folder, so we'll come back to them now. Northern Pound Eraser says that this VPN program is actually malware, so it's not liking this VPN program. Says it's young, few users, and reputation is untrusted. So Malwarebytes is not happy about this VPN program. I did also verify it with the Comodo Valkyrie and there was no problem with it. So I think it might just be Malwarebytes, but let's see if any other vendors do pick this up. Okay, while we're here, let's look at MCSoft. Okay, so as you guys can see, MCSoft is not picking up anything else as the location is not changing. So it only seems to be malware on the desktop. Okay, so nothing there, only malware on the desktop. We'll just double check these results with virus total. Okay, so let's look at Malwarebytes. So Malwarebytes also only found 4 problems. Desktop malware samples. Then there's one under app data. And then another 2 on the desktop. So this is the only malware that Malwarebytes is not liking as well. Something under app data. So that could just be a temporary file. Let's just see. It's a .ink file. So yeah, only 1 problem according to Malwarebytes, but I think these are just to vendor specific, because we have mixed results with all 4 third-party opinion scanners. So it's like not all of them picked up the same thing, so it could be just their own signatures. So I'm not too worried about third-party opinion scanners picking up malware outside of the malware folder for Comodo. Comodo's containment is pretty much bulletproof, so if there is things like this, I'll take it with a grain of salt, because Heatman Pro didn't pick this file up, also MCSoft didn't pick it up, Norton didn't pick it up. Malwarebytes picked up the app data, where Malwarebytes didn't pick up the VPN program, nor did it pick up the that IoT file, where Heatman Pro picked up the IoT file but not the other ones. So it's very mixed results for all of them, but nonetheless they are picking things up, but I'm not too worried about them. I don't think these are actually really threats. Okay, so that was under okay, let's quickly see what virus total has to say about this file. Okay, so only 3 vendors are listing it. So normally when it's this low, it just to the vendor itself. So it could just be machine learning or artificial intelligence picking up that this is actually malware, and actually might not be malware, because we can see the majority of the vendors are not listing it. And as you guys saw, even on the Comodo Valkyrie, I've analyzed this file static dynamically, and there are actually no problems with this. But let's check the virus total. It will just take us to that same page. I actually forgot I can do it from here. Okay, so it's only these three vendors that have flagged it. It's malicious. All other vendors have not flagged it, so I think this might just be a false positive. And yet again, it is clean, but human expert analysis is in progress, so I'm not too faded about that program. And then we have another file we need to analyze. And then it was the Qt5 file. Which one? Qt5 core library. That's this one. Okay, so only one program has flagged it. So it says it's an invalid signature. Let's actually analyze this with Valkyrie. Okay, cool guys, so now I'm showing you another side of Comodo, which I've not shown before, is the Valkyrie. You can use this to manually analyze files. All files do get uploaded to Valkyrie anyways, but you can just manually check and upload and pull results and whatnot. And I need to copy the file. Sorry guys, I know this is tedious, but I think it is quite interesting, so that we can check all of this. Okay, so let's quickly upload that file. Yeah, it shouldn't take too long. Sorry guys. Okay, so now it's busy loading. So this is the phase that any unknown file with Comodo goes through. It goes through the Valkyrie analysis, and if Valkyrie can't determine, it will then automatically be submitted for human expert analysis, but you can also manually submit files. Okay, so signature, you can see it says it's already clean. So I think it's going to say this file is clean, but then I'll just submit it for human expert. Okay, cool. So as you guys can see, Comodo says it's clean, but we'll submit it for human. Okay, so I don't think these two malware for Hitman Pro is actually malware, so I'm not going to label that as malware. I think that's also why it just says suspicious. So no malware here. I'm unhappy about that. But I'm still going to list these two as PUPs because obviously I didn't want it on this machine. Okay, cool. So also with this file, I'm going to take it with a pinch of salt. I just can't remember that extension out of my head, so I'm not going to let's maybe see if we can actually find it. Sorry guys, if this part is boring, you can just always fast forward it, but I think it's interesting for us to check this. It's gonna take a long one. I can't remember that whole extension out of my head. App data roaming Microsoft. Windows recent. And then it's CB06. CB06. Okay, so there's only one file called CB that I can find. Okay, so it's this one. Okay, I don't think Comodo is going to have an issue with that. I think the only reason why Malwarebytes flagged it is because this shortcut is linked to malware. So I think that's why Malwarebytes is flagging it, because it's a location for malware. So I don't actually think that is malware. Yeah. So as you guys can see, we cannot even upload it. So because this is a shortcut for that file, I just wanted to see if we can actually check the shortcut itself. But yeah, so again, I'm not labeling that as malware. If you guys disagree with me, let me know please, but that is the location and it is just purely pointing to this malware here, obviously. So it's linked to this malware, but it's not malware itself, so it's not an infection, it's just a shortcut to the malware. So I'm not going to label it as malware. So in my opinion, this machine is clean. Okay, cool. So I just wanted to make sure because I was a bit surprised as the containment, but yeah. So no malware infection according to me. If that file gets opened up, that zip file, then Comodo will just contain it. So I'm not too stressed about it. So let's look at our documents. Okay, documents are fine and our pictures are intact. Okay, cool. So no problem there. Let's look at our startup items. Okay, so as you guys can see, we only have one startup item, PowerShell, but I would say it's not supposed to be here. But PowerShell itself is not an issue. But there's one startup item that's not supposed to be there. Let's look at our processes. So obviously Comodo allowed that PowerShell because it's a clean PowerShell. let's expand this, do that. Okay, let's see if we can find anything fishy running. Okay, so it's just obviously that file that's running from the temporary location, which obviously they label as malware, but I'm not labeling it as malware, so I'm not too worried that it's running. And yeah, so that's about it. According to me, that is not malware, and you guys saw manually analysis via Valkyrie says it's clean, and there's only 3 vendors of all the vendors that say it's malware, so I think it's a false positive. Okay, so pros and cons, we'll go through it now. Let's quickly look at Eset's results. Okay, so let's say malware there. Okay, cool. So Eset has the same fate as Comodo, these 2 files, so I'm not labeling it as malware, so fair to Eset. According to Heatman Pro, no infection, so that's good. Let's look at Norton Power Eraser. So Norton also complains about this VPN, which I think it's maybe just related to Norton. I did also check the VPN program with Comodo prior, and it also said it was clean. So I think this might just be Norton that's not happy with this. So I'm not labeling this as malware, but these 3 I will, because these are temporary files, and that's an exe, a library file, and another exe. So Norton found those 3. So to be fairful, he said I'm not labeling the VPN as malware. Scan the results. Let's do that. Location. Okay, so according to according to MCSoft, 1 file, and that's that same temporary file that Norton managed to pick up. So 1, and then the rest seems to be on the desktop. Yeah, so it's only the 1. We'll close that. Oh, I didn't run a Kaspersky scan with the Comodo machine. It's just the tests were running like super long, and this Kaspersky scan also takes forever, so that's the only reason why I haven't run a scan with Comodo. But obviously you can see the trend of all the other scanners, what the results are. So this is Kaspersky. So also that same one that MCSoft or MCSoft picked up is this one, and then malware on the desktop and malware on the desktop. So it's only found 1 problem. Let's look. We did already do Norton. Let's look at Malwarebytes. Okay, so Malwarebytes also that 1 malware, that same one, that temporary file, that exe. And then these are all malware on the desktop. Okay, so also only 1 malware. We'll close that. And yeah, so let's quickly look at our files. Not sure what file. Oh, this is the Norton file, I think. Yeah, so no, okay, so that is not malware. Norton Power Eraser did an update, so that's the temporary file that it created, so that's not malware. Downloads seems good. Documents are good. Pictures are good. And yeah, okay, cool, so that's great. No ransomware infection. Let's check our startup items, and let's also check running processes. Okay, so we've got 2 Javas. I did notice that after the restart there are 2 Java errors, so I'm assuming these 2 want to run, but they're broken. There was no Eset pop-up, so it didn't look like Eset was blocking them. I think it might have did it and I missed it, but I think these 2 are just going to be broken. They launch, but whatever they're looking for might fail. Then we've also got Sandboxy, and then Notepad++. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 startup items compared to Comodo's 1. So it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. So a little bit more startup items. I would say 1 more PUP than Comodo because Sandboxy installed. So Sandboxy, Brave, and this Aort looks like a counterfeit of or wannabe of NordVPN. On Comodo, 7-zip also installed, I think. Let's just check. Yeah, so 7-zip installed. Also, I don't want it on this machine. So PUPs, if they are or not, you guys know. I will list it as PUPs. So we've got 3 PUPs on Comodo, and we have 4 PUPs on Eset. Okay, so let's quickly look at Eset's running the processes. Okay, so Eset as well, as you guys can see, has the same local T thingy running. They also didn't block it, so for me, I don't think that's malware. That's just a false positive, so I'm not too worried about that. Okay, great. So nothing running that's not supposed to be there. Yeah, I'm not too worried about this machine. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's the test, guys. So pros and cons for both of them. So cons for Comodo, I would say, is the PUP files. They're not supposed to be there, but obviously Comodo allowed them to install because they are not malware, or most probably rated as PUPs because PUP protection is enabled. So, but again, cons, PUP is installed, and we've got 1 PowerShell startup item, or PowerShell itself, that's starting up, which I don't like being there. So 1 startup item, 3 PUPs, and I would say maybe that's about it. There is no malware infection, no running processes, no ransomware infection. Oops, sorry guys, I accidentally bumped one of the cables. It should come back on now. I'm in any case busy in the process of revamping my own IT, so bear with me. Yeah, so I would say those are the only cons, just some PUPs and PowerShell that started up that's not supposed to be there, and that's about it. So for Eset, cons, I would say there is more startup items than Comodo, especially the Javas and the Notepad and the Sandboxy, and obviously 1 more PUP for Eset. And then obviously there is malware found by 3 out of the 4 third-party opinion scanners. So Malwarebytes, MCSoft, and Norton found those temporary files, those EXEs. Norton is the only one that found the library file, but the EXEs were found by Malwarebytes and MCSoft as well. So small amount of malware. I don't think it's a complete train smash, so I'm not going to fail Eset. I would say Eset passed. But between the 2, Comodo for me did better, but it is extremely close, so I would say Eset definitely gave Comodo a run for its money. So I'm actually quite impressed by Eset, especially compared to the home versions. I'm really not impressed by the smart security and the internet security for the home versions, but it seems like the business version actually made up for that. But yeah, so let me know guys what you guys thought about the video, if there's anything I missed or pointed out, or what you guys feel should have been the outcome or the results, or if there's something I missed or you guys not agreeing with me, but for me, we did investigate with Comodo itself that those other files are not malware. The Malwarebytes one was just a shortcut to the malware itself, so the shortcut itself is, so I think that's why Malwarebytes labeled it as malware, because it is linked to malware, but I'm not worried about that. So for me, the Comodo machine is clean. It's just maybe with the Eset you'll just need to clean that temporary folder, just delete all the files in temporary folder, then it should be fine, because there was no malware elsewhere. It was just found in the temporary file location. So for me, both of them passed, but I would say Eset is the, I'm sorry, that Comodo is the winner. But let me know what other tests you guys want us to do. We'll soon go back to the home products, because the majority of our business products have already expired or is super close to expiring. Except these two, Eset we can still test for about a month, and obviously Comodo we can test till the end of days. So let me know, guys, other tests, other business products you guys want us to test, and I'll see if I can make it happen. If not, if there's maybe home products you guys want us to test again, free or paid versions, let me know. We did manage to get some subscriptions for the home products, so we can test them more extensively. But yeah, thanks again, guys, for watching, all the support, views, likes, and leave your comments. We'll look at it and we'll reply as soon as possible. And until next time, guys, I'll see you guys soon.